let's go back to like, I guess early in your career when you were in the hotel on wheels, the camper. So you were, how did that idea come about that you were gonna just travel Europe in a camper van and
Well,
make it happen?
my mom, my parents. So at the end of 2002, 2003, we had those futures in Jamaica, and then sometime in 2004, we were like trying to figure out, okay, when they stopped having all these futures in Jamaica, and I think I was like 600, like how are we going to continue, and how is it possible to maybe pay for this in Europe? Because obviously, it wasn't realistic that I would be able to play my entire career just in Jamaica and maybe in the States and Canada. So it's like, got to go back to Europe. And my mom had the idea, and we end up looking at different cars. And it was actually a VW bus that I first looked at that was really, really expensive. And I end up going into like a VW store, and we saw a used caravan. It's actually huge, really big one. And it was actually cheaper than the VW bus. And then, spoke to my mom, and they end up being able to finance it. And that's how the situation came about, because it was like, well, all you need basically, if my parents pay for the financing, is enough money to pay for the gas to go to the next tournament. And like Italy and Spain had a bunch of futures the same way Jamaica had. So you could play in the same country. You would just have to go from one little city to the next little city and just play future week in, week out. Had a stringing machine. I was stringing rackets for other guys for €5. So local stringer was not having a lot of work.
So where would you park? Where would you park the van?
At the club. So my biggest friend was always the maintenance worker for the club, because he's the one that gave me electricity. So the first person when I pulled up to a club is like, is it possible to, I think nowadays it wouldn't even work. Back then I had like 150 meter long cable, and I said, is it possible that I can have electricity for my camper? And I think 2 or 3 tournaments in the entire time it didn't work, and it was a terrible week, because then, laptop didn't work, string machine didn't work. I had gas in there, like a propane tank, so you could,
Mm-hmm.
cook, and you can use the heater and stuff, but obviously can't run electricity off it. And back then,
That's a hotel for real, Airbnb.
So, and some other guys were staying with me, because the hotels obviously were still expensive. So I tell a guy, hey, give me $20-30, you can stay with me. I had 3 double beds in there, basically.
Wow.
So
Money making time is all the time. Yeah.
it is what it is, man.
But it's so overrated of a thing, like traveling in Europe, because people say how easy it is to travel. Like, bro, no, it is not. Like, you have to take trains all day, take multiple flights, and then when you land, the tournament's not in like a major city, so you still have to drive like another hour, 2-3 hours. Like, it takes me so long to get around Europe.
I know, but they also talk for people that live in Europe, because now for all of us, traveling is easy because we can go home in between weeks. Obviously, if you're coming from the Caribbean or Australia or South America, it's a pain because you're stuck over here.
Yeah.
But for us, like even London, straight flight, I come back, I'm here. Then I jump in the car and I go to the club matches, I come back, I'm home. So it's a lot easier, and America is a lot bigger. So when you do that there, it's not as close as here.
Yeah.
But they like to swing you though. Like you look at the airline ticket, it say like it's $43. But then your carry-on costs $90, and then your suitcase costs $200. It's like, dog, like.
But that's also new. It never used to be like that back then. But obviously, traveling isn't, cheap.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, so we all have this experience. Like you young, and you home alone for the first time, and it's dark, and you hear noises, and you a little scared. Like what is that? Because normally somebody else in the house, you feel comforted. You driving around middle of nowhere, Italy, Spain, wherever, and let's say it's early in your camper days. You have any stories of like you hear some shit and you freaking out, or you like little tight?
Actually, no, didn't freak out. And I wasn't, like, sometimes, like, you had guys stay with you, so I wasn't alone the entire time, so you'd have other players stay there. And it's also on a tennis club, so it's not like literally just, yes, obviously it also happened that I would be on a random road in the middle of nowhere, but I'm still at a tennis club. There's a restaurant there. It closed at whatever time. In the morning, someone comes, and most of the time, at the end of the day, I think being in Jamaica, being 10 or 11 and living up in the mountains with my dad, when you go in the bush there, then you hear some shit. So that's a little different, But, in the camper, obviously one time, I think I was lucky, we ended up being at dinner and they tried to break in. I think that's probably the scariest story, that I came and like my door was like almost off the hinges. They tried to break in, so I wasn't inside at the time. But, you know what them teach at Jamaica? My father used to always say, just put a hot pot with oil on the stove and make them come inside.
So when did it change for you? Like when were you able to then not have to drive and use that as your transportation?
2009. 2009, I think I played a challenger in Karlsruhe, ended up going from qualies to finals, and I lost to Florian Meyer, who was also making a comeback. And at that time, my ranking ended up being high enough that I could get also, my doubles ranking was high enough that I was thinking, okay, now I don't have to only play futures. So here and there, I would take a chance and go to a challenger where I knew I would be in doubles main draw and play singles qualies. And Karlsruhe was one of these places. In that tournament, I ended up playing finals and got so many points that I ended up going to Uzbekistan for 3 weeks. So I went Uzbekistan, Samarkand, Karshi, and Kazakhstan. 3-week tournament, rough trip, but made more points in those 3 weeks than I had in an entire year before. Because I think I won the first tournament challenger, second one I lost quarters, and third one I played finals. And I think I had over 100 points when I left for that trip, and I made over 100 points in those 3 weeks. So my ranking was so high that I was starting to get into challenges in Europe.
Does the mentality shift at all then from what it was like when you had the camper to now a little bit of success and maybe able to play higher tournaments? Or were you still very conservative with the funds?
No, it's still conservative because at the end of the day, you still don't have any money. I mean, it's just, you get hospitality. You win a tournament, you make a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, all the money that my parents have put into the sport, all the money that, everything. Sorry, that was my dog, sorry. All the money that has gone into the sport. It's at the time when you're playing challenge and you win a challenger, yes, in that moment it feels unbelievable, but in the big picture it's no money at all because you have so much expenses. So it's a good feeling, but again, you got to start grinding. I think the first time I actually made money was probably third round Wimbledon 2013. I mean, obviously, yes, I played US Open 2010 main draw. I think back then it was, $17,800 US, minus 30% tax. So at the end of the day, with traveling, being there with the coach and all of that, yes, it's money, but how far does it actually carry you? So I think the first time to actually make money, we say, okay, this is money that might change your life in certain aspects, was, I think, 2013 third round Wimbledon.
Okay.
You ever string your opponent's racket?
Yeah, and back in the futures, guys did that. There's nowadays, no one would do that. Guys would come to me and give me the racket and just say, just don't fuck it up, please, and see you tomorrow.
That's funny.
There was still some sort of, but it's also different at futures than it's now. Guys were by themselves. Everyone was struggling. No one had money. Everyone was trying to just, save €5 and bring the racket to me, or you pay €5 more and give it to the official stringer, and then you don't have the issue of dealing with me, but everyone's trying to save money.
I want to show you not much has changed. Look at this. Let me see if I can show you.
Pro stringer or what? Oh, wow. He's
not much
out.
has changed. Yeah, man is sleeping, bro. Not much has changed, even in the challenges. So.
Yeah.
So you never badman nobody and string the racket bad?
Nah. At the time, I was kind of like, no, I wouldn't really, because at that point, it's kind of like, I think I would feel bad. That's the German part. The Jamaican part is like, nah, just fuck it up. But the German part is like, nah, I can't. That's like, nah, at the end of the day, I would feel bad if I actually beat you and at the end of the day, everyone had more than one racket. So if you realize, then he just takes 2 other rackets and, word would get around, and at the end of the day, lose customers. All right. Can't be doing
money
that.
Making time.
Can't be making that.
Time.
I was making more money stringing rackets and prize money at tournaments, so.
That's a mad thing for real. Wow. That's crazy. When you see campus today, is it like a positive feeling, or you like, I remember them days and that was rough?
Yes and no. Because I have friends that it's like, no, yo, I'm going to get a camper and I'm going to drive up in the mountains. I'm going to camp in the middle of nowhere. I was like, good luck, buddy. It's like, I'm done. I love that.
I pay my dues.
I love that for you, but I need a bed and I need a bathroom. I can't. I'm too old for that. I don't play that no more.
I have AC and Wi-Fi.
It's I think it's a different situation. Yeah. It's a different situation now, whereas if I go with my family for a week and it's on a holiday, it's a different situation. But literally just get in a camper and go in the middle of a mountain of nowhere, get out and cook on random stuff. Nah,
Too much.
I would do that,
Too
but I guess
old.
I have an experience like I guess what you've experienced. You know, I've had some struggle like sharing hotel rooms, sharing beds and stuff, but I didn't experience like driving around in a van.
Sleep on the floor.
Yeah, I slept on the floor. We slept in a hotel room
You know, one
once.
time this man
Go on,
spent
Dustin.
more than $100 a night to sleep on the floor. You know that?
Say what?
He spent more than $100 a night to sleep on the floor at a Red Roof Inn because we were in Naples.
Yeah.
We were in Naples, and the hotels was a motel was like $450 a night. A motel,
Wow.
dog. So Jody had already lost, and me and Evan were playing each other. So we took the beds,
Darian
and
took
Jody
the
couldn't
couch.
get back home because he came with me. He was in my car.
And Darian had the
was on
couch.
too. So
It was four of
You
us in a
gotta
hotel
split it,
room.
man. Yeah, whatever it is, man. It's better than outside, huh?
Yeah, 100%.
crazy. The cost could be crazy high.
Thanks for watching this clip. If you want to watch the full episode, the link is in the description down below.